What is good, guys? It's your boy Smith from All Things Living, and today we're gonna continue with the series. Last week we did top 5 most common snakes in North America, and it wasn't like 1 through 5 the most common, because there's like 15-20 species that are just really common out here. I just selected 5 common snakes that I really like and had personal accounts with and things like that. Anyways, we're moving on to the top 5 common snakes in South America. Let's go. Coming in at number 5, we have the emerald tree boa. Now, this is a medium body snake, maxing out about 5.5 to 7 feet. Now, the ones that live out in the Amazon usually get a little bit bigger, 8.5 to 9 feet. They get pretty big out there, but in captivity, that's not too common. These animals are almost exclusively tree dwellers. They're like, they're always in the trees. And these animals have a pretty wide range as far as where they live. They can be found in the Amazon basin, Colombia, Peru, Brazil, Suriname, and I'm pretty sure many other places out there too. These dudes have a wide reach and range. Now, these animals are not venomous, but they have the biggest teeth of any non-venomous snake ever. If you've seen these teeth, they're absolutely terrifying. When I seen them for the first time, I was like, man, why would you want to own one of those? Why, if you get bit by one of those, it's gonna be a long day, bro. Now, these snakes are usually green, full grown. These snakes are usually green with distorted white stripe and bands on their bodies. And although we do have these animals readily available in captivity, and there's been doing like a lot of captive breeding efforts going on, I don't think there's really like morphs or anything going on with this snake as of now. But you know, enough work with any snake, those morphs start coming out, them hidden genes start coming out like crazy. So I'm pretty sure that we'll be seeing something from these animals sooner or later. Now, the babies are usually born red or orange, but at about 5 or 6 months, they'll start to fade and get their green colors that they'll grow into, and they'll stay that color for the rest of their lives. And when I was young, this snake was being advertised everywhere. And I don't mean like advertised for sale, but like in all the movies. If you ever seen movies of like South America, Brazil, anything like that, anybody was in the jungle, the action movies, the magazines, National Geographics, this was the snake that represented South America in the 90s, and everybody wanted this snake. Nobody had them, but everybody wanted them. And now, because of captive breeding, you could actually get these animals pretty easily now, and you can get them captive bred. There's not too many of them being imported nowadays. There's not any like morphs or anything like that I know of, but you can get these animals pretty easily nowadays. They're really common, relatively common, easy to get. Although I wouldn't recommend handling them. Like I said, they have a pretty nasty bite. But you can set them up in a beautiful display enclosure, and they'd love it. You'd love it. It'd be an awesome, amazing animal to look at. In fact, that's probably what I would do if I had one of these. I would set it up in a display enclosure. And hopefully one of these days, man, we get to work with these animals. That would be amazing. All right, coming in at number 4, we got the fer de lance. Now, the fer de lance, or the common lance head, is the most deadly snake in Central and South America. It causes more human deaths than I think any snake in America in general. It kills people regularly. These are a pretty small bodied pit viper, highly venomous, maxing out about 4.5 to 6 feet. So they get relatively big. They get pretty big, and they pack a punch. And they also have a pretty wide range as far as their distribution, being found in Guyana, Trinidad, Suriname, Venezuela, and once again, many other places within that area. Now, these dudes seem to be pretty much at home anywhere. They have a wide variety of prey items, from lizards to frogs, rodents, birds. They eat they pretty much eat anything they come across that is smaller than them. Now, the young fer de lance snakes seem to be like semi-arboreal. They'll get up in the trees. You'll find them up high sometimes, but as they get older, that goes right away. And they seem to be more comfortable just hiding out in the brush, in the woods, under logs and leaves and stuff like that. Things that blend in with their pattern. And these animals are nocturnal. Usually in the daytime, they're just hanging out, doing their thing. Like a lot of nocturnal snakes, if you find them, they're just chilling under logs and rocks, trying to wait until the day passes. Into the night, they get hunting and moving around, looking for mates and things like that. Now, these animals, they breed year-round. There really isn't no season for them. They breed year-round. The females give birth to live young. They gestate the eggs themselves. And they can give birth from anywhere to like 20 to 60 babies on average, which is quite a lot for a highly venomous snake. And every single one of her babies is coming out just as deadly as she is on day one. They are ready to go and they're completely independent day one, ready and strong enough to kill day one. Now these guys usually live in close proximity to humans. They're easily aggravated and they're not afraid to strike. They, in fact, like sometimes they'll be in the middle of running away, completely change their mind, come back, strike back at it. Like this is why they cause so many problems, cause so many deaths. They live in close proximity to humans and they're very unpredictable as far as their strike patterns and just their behavior in general. These animals are, I'm not gonna say extremely aggressive, but very easily agitated. Now these animals prefer the rainforest, but they usually live in the dry forest and the wetlands, lowlands. A lot of the times you find them in like agricultural lands, like where people are developing and stuff like that. And this is why they have so many run-ins with humans. And on top of them just being quick to strike and easily agitated, that's another reason why there are so many deaths. This is a snake that I will not be working with ever, but I can appreciate the beauty of this animal. It is absolutely beautiful. Moving right along. Coming in at number 3, we have the Brazilian Rainbow Boa. Now these animals are super popular and have been captive bred heavily or a lot since the late 80s and early 90s. Now the internet wasn't even a thing then, but a lot of work was being done with these animals. And now you could actually get a couple morphs. There are a couple good morphs. They're not incredibly expensive. They're absolutely beautiful. This is a project that I want to buy into and get into. I want to just produce some animals to keep. This is an amazing project I want to get into. Now here are a couple options. You got your base morph Brazilian Rainbow Boa. You got your Colombian Rainbow Boa. You have black-eyed leucistics, blue-eyed leucistics, albinos, aneries, patternless, and many more. Now this snake is a medium-build snake, usually maxing out about 6.5 feet, and they can typically be found in like Central and Southern America, countries like Panama, Brazil, Guyana, all those areas. Once again, they inhabit a large area. Once again, these animals are everywhere. Now these animals are semi-arboreal, so they spend a lot of time in the trees, a lot of time on the ground. They spend most of the time on the ground though, but they do spend, it's not uncommon to see them in the trees or find them basking in the trees, hunting in the trees. It's regular for them. And these animals are relatively good swimmers, but they don't hunt in the water like other snakes in the Amazon. They typically hunt on the water's edge. They eat like birds and bats, I think. That's birds and rodents. Now, this is a beautiful snake it's got like reddish orange body, reflects every color in the rainbow. Got 3 black stripes on their head, black rings on their body. These are beautiful animals. Their scales are like iridescent and holographic. It's like looking at a Pokemon card. They're absolutely beautiful. You get these snakes in the sun, they get the blinging. It's a light show. And thanks to captive breeding in the early 90s and late 80s, man, now these animals are readily available and they're not being brought in huge numbers like they used to, like the ball pythons and the boas of the past. They used to get brought in huge numbers, but now because we breed them so much, we have a huge supply of captive bred Brazilian Rainbow Boas literally everywhere. Everybody has them and their numbers didn't suffer in the wild, so good going to breeding. And that's one reason why not only do I personally breed a lot of animals, or a lot of my animals, but I love the idea of breeding because there are a lot of things that happen out there naturally that impact the populations, the wild populations of these animals, and sadly a lot of it has to do with us as humans. Habitat loss is a huge problem, so anything we can do to keep the numbers up is cool with me. And we will be working with these animals over here at All Things Living, both the base morphs and mutation morphs. Anything involving these animals, we're gonna be working with them in the future. We're just gonna wait until we expand. I'm not really for putting these animals in small enclosures. I wanna do big 8x8 enclosures, 10x10, just big, large, out of this world enclosures for these animals. We got to give them the best, and yeah. So until I can do that, I'm not even gonna step into the project. Moving right along to number 2, we got the green anaconda. Now, green anacondas are the heaviest bodied snake on the planet, weighing up to 500 pounds, growing up to 25 feet. Like, why? Why they gotta be so big? Like, for what? For what? But contrary to popular belief, these animals are rather docile. They're not really aggressive at all. In fact, a lot of people say, like, when they capture them in the wild, it's really easy. Just walk up on them and grab them and then walk off with them. No hissing, striking, none of that. These animals are incredibly chill, incredibly docile. Now, these animals generally live in like tropical forests, and you'll usually find them either in or around the water. They spend a lot of time in the water and around the water. That's where they do a lot of their work. These animals are most commonly found in Brazil, Colombia, and Venezuela. They are semi-aquatic. These animals are semi-aquatic, spending a lot of time in the water and also a lot of time on land. They do a lot of hunting, on both rather. They hunt in the water, they hunt on land too. So these are nocturnal animals. They usually live solitary, but at night they cover huge distances, which makes sense. You're a 25-foot snake. You do 2 lengths of your body, that's 50 feet. So at night, these animals will cover huge distances, usually in the breeding season, looking for a mate. But yeah, they're nocturnal, solitary, cover a lot of distance at night. And they say these animals are opportunistic hunters, meaning like they really have no plan on not only what they're hunting, but how they're hunting. They don't really care. And if you're that big, it really doesn't matter. You just kind of body anything you come across. So they don't have any plans for taking out their prey. They just kind of run it down and overpower it. Now, they say these animals feed on other reptiles, birds, sheep, pigs, dogs, deer. You already know, anything that it can grab, it's gonna eat it. I really don't even think the size matters. If it can grab it, it's gonna eat it. Now, this is another animal that gives birth to live youngs about 7 months after the breeding season. The female will usually go off of food. Now, the female would gestate the eggs and give birth to live young about 7 months after the breeding season, and she could lay anywhere from 20 to 60 live babies. These babies are completely independent. Day one, ready to go, ready to hunt. Yeah, they're ready to go, ready to hunt. Day one. And this is another snake that you can find easily, not only in the wild, but in captivity. A lot of people are breeding these animals. Although I don't know why you would want a snake that gets that big. I don't think they are for everybody. You need a really big enclosure with a lot of water. There are a couple people who do it right, but yeah, they're readily available. This is a common snake, and I don't really see the numbers dwindling, not only in captivity nor the natural populations. They're doing well. And this is definitely an animal that I will be working with in the future as the facility grows, when I can build a huge, like, zoo level enclosures. I think we'll get some anacondas then, but no time soon. Coming in at number 1, we got the red tail boa. Everybody's breeding these things. Everybody has them. This animal is being readily bred by, like I said, every reptile. Everybody has red tail boas. Not only are these animals super common in their own habitat, but they're super common in the American pet trade too. Now, these animals live throughout like northern Mexico, Central and Southern America, and then some of the islands off of that in that area too. Their habitats are usually in woodland areas or in forests by the water, but you could also find them in the grasslands and the dry forests also. Like, they're very common in those areas. Now, this is a fairly large bodied snake, about 6.5 to 7 feet max. But there are some bigger snakes, of course. Red tail boas are solitary animals that come together in the dry season to mate. Gestation that lasts anywhere from 6 to 8 months, and the females will drop anywhere from 8 to 50 live babies at a time. Now, this is another animal that has been bred a lot. Now, you have a couple options when it comes to like the morphs, and they're not too expensive neither. Just very, very easy to buy into this. Some of the morphs are almost like base morph price, which is kind of weird. This is a very like cheap project to buy into, and a very like rewarding and fulfilling project, because the morphs that come out are just absolutely beautiful. And these animals aren't too picky about what they eat. They eat birds, bats, and lizards in the wild. And say you want to get into some of these morphs, you have a couple of options. We have your hypomelanistic, your melanistic, your aneries, jungles, sun glows, moon glows, and there are many other mutations you can get into. And they're relatively cheap too. They're not super expensive to buy into, and like I said, they're really rewarding seeing the things that you can produce with these animals. And that was the list, top 5 most common from South America. I plan on just bouncing around to different continents, doing a bunch of different animals. I'm loving doing all this research, and I'm learning a lot doing this. So if you had fun with this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know you subscribe. We'll have a conversation. Thanks, it's your boy Smith. All things living. I'm out.